Majority of innovations are being created in startups. It's estimated that only small percentage, roughly 2% of global R&D budgets actually are spent in startups. At the same time, roughly 90% of all new innovations are being created in garages by startup teams, startup companies, not in well-funded R&D centers. So the only way to stay in touch with what's going on in the market, the only way to understand the new trends, new innovations that are going to shape the future of the ecosystem is to stay in touch with those companies.
The startups should work with corporates, and corporates definitely should work with startups. Actually, corporates that aren't doing corporate venturing are in the process of failing. We've seen from all sorts of different speakers how in the US the large corporations are dwindling because they're just not keeping pace. Their time to market with new products is much more expensive, is much longer, and the early stage new startup is the great source of innovation for today.
The most successful corporations are very disciplined in their approach. They try to meet their quarterly targets, monthly targets, and they don't really have time for creativity, for boredom, for inspirations. This is something which is required by startups. So I believe that corporations, in order to successfully launch new ideas and build new ventures, they should work with startups because they bring different point of view. They have this additional energy that is required for large corporations to be engaged in innovative businesses.
Big corporations believe that all the great inventions and technology development would come out of their own R&D labs. I think there's a recognition now that although R&D labs may still be important, they need to supplement that. So that's just one tool in their innovation toolbox. And another key tool is access to external startups that are young, dynamic, and have leading edge technology or are developing leading edge technology that represent both opportunities and threats for the corporate. So the question is, how do they engage with those small startups all around the world? How do they see them? How do they work with them? And corporate venture capital is one way of corporates seeing those startups and working with them.
I guess corporations increasingly realize that they can buy, partner, or invest in startups, but they just cannot ignore them anymore. And I guess what we're doing with D-RAFT is helping the companies understand what's going on around them and find best startups that respond to their biggest challenges.